All right, get those fins on, everyone, and grab your buddy, because today we're diving deep, and I mean deep, into the world of underwater communication.
Right, because down there, it's a whole different ball game.
Totally. You get to share these incredible dive sites, stunning marine life,
Mm.
but you can't exactly shout across the reef, can you?
It's something we take for granted up here, right? Just the simple act of talking.
I know. So how do you actually talk down there?
Well, it really highlights just how hostile an environment it is down there.
Hmm.
No casual chatter, no yelling. It becomes a matter of, well, carefully calculated gestures and signals.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which is what we're diving into today. We're going through excerpts from an actual diver training manual. This is how scuba divers learn to navigate this silent world.
The source material itself.
Exactly. Now, we all probably know the basic OK sign underwater, right?
Right.
But this manual, it reveals this whole system of communication way beyond just the basic.
Oh, absolutely. And it underscores just how critical it is because it's not just about pointing out, a cool fish or something.
Right.
It's really a safety lifeline down there. In fact, the manual uses this phrase, an unforeseen event.
Okay.
Now, for us land dwellers, maybe that's a flat tire, right?
Yeah.
Underwater, that could be equipment malfunction, sudden current change,
Oh, wow. Okay.
situations where every second counts.
Okay, that got a little ominous, but it really drives home the point.
Yeah.
So no yelling across the reef. Got it. But how do you even get someone's attention when you can't, like, I don't know, snap your fingers or something?
Oh, right. You have to think about how sound travels underwater. It's distorted, it's easily muffled. The manual emphasizes these more tactile methods.
Okay.
Like tapping your buddy or gently banging on your tank.
Okay.
Might seem rudimentary, but those vibrations, they're crucial for cutting through, the noise and often limited visibility.
That's something I never even considered. So it's like sending almost like Morse code through the water.
Kind of, yeah,
But once you have their attention, you need to actually say something.
precisely.
Right.
And this is where things get really interesting because we're not just talking about, improvised gestures. We're talking about a globally standardized language of hand signals.
Wow. Okay.
The OK sign, for example, isn't just a casual how's it going?
Yep.
It is a vital check-in to make sure your buddy is safe.
It's like its own underwater sign language then.
It really is.
Which, wow, it makes you realize how dangerous miscommunication could be down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, imagine mistaking a distress signal for, like, look at that pretty coral.
Exactly. And that's why the standardization is paramount in the diving world.
Yeah.
The manual really drives this point home. These signals aren't optional. They are the difference between a safe dive and a potential disaster.
So that begs the question, what does a distress signal even look like? Is it like a frantic wave?
Well, it's designed to be universally recognized, even in low vis. So picture this. You fully extend your arm, hand flat,
Okay.
and you move it side to side like you're waving a flag.
Oh, okay, good.
It's a very clear, unambiguous signal that something is wrong, and you need immediate assistance.
Okay.
No mistaking that one.
Okay, yeah. That's one signal you hope you never have to use.
Right.
But good to know. Good to know. But what about, like, okay, so you need to communicate something a little more complex than just, okay, or help.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's where the pre-dive briefing becomes absolutely critical.
Okay.
The manual, it really hammers this home, that you and your buddy need to be on the same page about optional signals before you even get in the water.
Fascinating.
We're talking air supply checks, depth changes, even signals for specific marine life you might encounter.
So you, like, agree on a secret language just for that dive.
Essentially.
Wow. That's so cool.
Eh.
I imagine it's a delicate balance, though. Like, enough signals to be helpful, but not so many that you're like 5 minutes in. Wait, what was that for again?
Right. You don't want to be fumbling through like an underwater game of charades down there.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
This is why a shared understanding of the dive plan is crucial. Knowing the intended depth, the approximate dive time, it provides the context for these, these less common signals.
It's amazing how much forethought goes into something that, on land we just take for granted.
Totally.
Now, I have to ask about something I find so intriguing, and that's these underwater whiteboards.
Yeah.
They sound so cool. It's like a diver's version of texting almost.
Right. They can be handy, especially for leaving messages or, those situations where a complex message needs to be conveyed.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to draw like a map to a hidden cave entrance using only hand gestures.
That's a really good point.
Okay.
But if they're so great, why not just use them for everything?
Well, the manual, it highlights a couple key limitations. Firstly, it's kind of the underwater equivalent of like whipping out your phone in the middle of a conversation.
Oh, okay.
It's slow, it's cumbersome, and it disrupts the flow of communication.
Right.
Hand signals, while maybe not as detailed, they're your go-to for these quick, efficient exchanges.
Yeah, it's about striking that balance then between speed and detail,
Exactly.
which makes sense in,
In that environment.
a potentially hazardous environment.
Yeah, for sure.
And remember, we're talking about using like a pencil and waterproof slate, often in challenging conditions.
Oh, yeah?
The manual even cautions about securing these items properly.
Oh, wow.
Imagine dropping your whiteboard and pencil while exploring a shipwreck.
Oh, talk about frustrating.
Yeah, not ideal.
Not ideal. It's a good reminder that as much as we try to be prepared,
Hmm.
diving always involves a degree of respect for the unpredictable nature of it all.
Right.
Speaking of preparedness, this whole discussion really underscores how much the buddy system is about more than just those individual signals.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's about a shared responsibility for each other's safety and well-being throughout the entire dive.
It's about constantly looking out for your buddy, anticipating potential problems, and knowing how to react in an emergency.
So it's less about knowing all the signals and more about mastering that like unspoken language of trust and awareness.
Precisely. And that's something that's established long before you even descend. The manual, it emphasizes the importance of those pre-dive briefings, not just for going over the dive plan, but for solidifying that buddy connection.
It's almost like a ritual then, a way of like acknowledging that shared risk and responsibility before venturing into this world together.
Exactly. It's about fostering that sense of interdependence and mutual support. It's about knowing, without a doubt, that your buddy has your back and you have theirs.
Wow. Now, if we were to distill the essence of the buddy system from this manual, like what are the absolute non-negotiables, the things that every diver should just take to heart?
3 key points come to mind. First and foremost, never dive alone.
Okay.
This isn't just a suggestion, it's a fundamental principle of safe diving.
I have a feeling this never dive alone rule isn't just a safety precaution. It's something that's like deeply ingrained in the culture of diving
Absolutely.
because it speaks to the like inherent understanding that the underwater world is beautiful, but it demands respect.
Exactly. And this brings us to the second crucial point. Always maintain visual contact with your buddy.
Okay.
This might seem obvious,
Yeah.
but it's easy to get caught up in the beauty of a reef or the thrill of exploring a wreck. But that consistent visual contact, that's your lifeline to safety.
Yeah.
It allows you to notice those subtle signs of trouble. A sudden change in buoyancy, a piece of equipment malfunctioning, things you might miss if your attention is elsewhere.
It's like having a constant safety check happening in the background without even having to think about it.
Right.
And what's the third takeaway?
This one goes hand in hand with maintaining visual contact, knowing what to do if you do get separated.
Okay.
And the manual outlines a very simple but effective guideline, the 1-minute rule.
The 1-minute rule. Okay. I'm all ears. This sounds intriguing.
So it's all about turning what could be, a panic-inducing situation
Right.
into a manageable procedure. If you lose sight of your buddy, the rule is simple. You search for no more than 1 minute. And if you still can't find them after that minute, you surface safely.
See, that to me sounds a little counterintuitive almost, like you'd want to search longer.
Right, but the 1-minute rule, it acknowledges this really crucial point, which is that your buddy is likely following the same protocol.
Ah, okay.
Surfacing increases the chance of a swift reunion on the surface, rather than, risking disorientation or even worse, running low on air while you're searching at depth.
That makes so much sense. It takes all the emotion out of, what could be a very stressful situation.
Exactly.
And it just gives you this very clear course of action.
Right.
And it makes that whole never dive alone rule
Yeah.
just hit even harder.
Right.
Because imagine facing, the manual talked about this unforeseen event,
Yeah,
but you've got nobody there.
exactly. And that's why that rule, it isn't just about safety, it's about like a mindset.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging that the underwater world, yeah, it's breathtakingly beautiful,
Right.
but it demands this level of respect that goes beyond just our individual capabilities.
Wow. Yeah.
It's about embracing the power of partnership, of knowing that 2 sets of eyes, 2 minds working together,
Right.
always stronger than one.
It strikes me that all of these communication techniques, all of these buddy system principles, they're not even just about preventing disaster, are they?
Yeah.
They're about enhancing the entire experience.
Absolutely. When you're confident in your ability to communicate with your buddy, when you trust them implicitly,
Hmm.
it frees you to actually immerse yourself in the experience.
Yeah.
You're not just surviving underwater, you're thriving.
Wow, okay.
You're present, you're observant, you're able to actually share those moments of awe and discovery in a way that just wouldn't be possible alone.
It's that unspoken connection, that shared language almost,
Right.
of this underwater exploration that really just elevates it from a hobby to like a truly profound experience.
Well said. It's about fostering this deep respect for the environment, for the essential role of partnership,
Mhm.
in navigating those challenges and then celebrating those wonders.
Well, we've gone from simple hand gestures to the profound implications of the never dive alone philosophy.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me how much depth there is to uncover in something as seemingly simple as underwater communication.
It makes you realize, how adaptable we are as humans. We find ways to connect, to communicate, even in the most extreme environments.
We really do. And for anyone listening who's ever dreamt of experiencing this magic firsthand, remember this. Mastering the art of underwater communication, it isn't just about, ticking a box on your certification checklist.
Mhm.
It's about unlocking a whole dimension of exploration, of connection, of wonder. It's about embracing the silence, mastering those signals, and discovering that profound power of the buddy system. So until our next deep dive, everyone, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, never stop seeking those hidden depths both within ourselves
Cheer, cheer.
and in the world around us.